Grazie. Ora avremo un intervento in inglese, quindi da questo momento parlerò in inglese. I'm presenting you Abhishek Nair. Are you online, Abhishek?
Yes, Joanna, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, but I cannot see you. Just a moment. In the meantime, I am introducing you. Abhishek Nair is Director of Business Development in Portxchange. Thank you very much for joining us. A little bit far from here, I suppose. So,
Joanna, firstly, grazie for allowing me to share my thoughts in English. Are you able to see me now? Because I see my videos on.
I see you.
Okay,
but
great.
Not your desktop. Just a kind of reminder, 10-11 minutes for your speech.
Yes, Joanna, thank you. I'll keep it short.
Please, your turn. Please, you can start.
So actually, let me start off with a story. Around 9 years ago, a ship, a very large crude oil carrier, it was about 12 hours from its destination in Northwest Europe at a port. At this point, it was made known to the ship that when she arrives in port, she will have to wait at anchor for about 5 to 6 hours before being able to berth at the nominated terminal. Now, this was not the ideal situation for a variety of reasons. So the captain had to reassess his plans, taking into considerations a wide array of factors, and decided that it would be best to take a detour, turn around, and extend the voyage for another 6 hours so that the waiting time at the anchorage could be skipped. Think of it like a holding pattern of a flight above a congested airport. Now, this ship is burning about 5 tons of heavy fuel oil every hour. $3,000 worth of fuel being burnt every hour. What a waste. You will recognize that. All of you recognize that. In fact, a large majority of all of us here have already calculated that this ship wasted 30 tons of fuel, close to $18,000 for those additional 6 hours. What most of us did not consider is the 95 tons of excess carbon dioxide and other emissions that this ship has put out by that action. The captain did not think of it either. He had to think really hard about a multitude of factors. He had to think about the cost of the fuel, the navigational safety of a ship, the commercial implications of this decision, the resting hours and work schedules of his staff, and many more, but not the emissions. I know this because I was that captain, and my carbon footprint was never a consideration for me. That is the mindset that needs to be changed. And we need to get out of that mold, and quickly, because time is running out. So how does all this connect to a circular economy, you would ask? My wife asked the same this morning. The predominant theme of the circular economy discussion has always been around material flow analysis. How can we reduce the carbon footprint of our daily consumable items from a life cycle assessment standpoint? Well, the wheat in our pasta, the clothes we wear, the fuel in our cars, and the computer chips that allow you to see and hear me across different ends of the world reach us because there are ships and ports that are working day in and day out to facilitate seamless supply chains. It is quite hard to find an object whose supply chain did not involve a ship or a port. It is often said that this industry carries 90% of everything. Consequently, the carbon footprint of 90% of everything is directly linked to shipping and ports. The sustainability goals of every organization, government, every company, and the planet are intertwined with the sustainability goals and performance of the shipping industry. We cannot have a net zero world without a net zero shipping industry. And the numbers speak for themselves. The industry contributes to 3% of the global anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions, close to 1 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide. That's three times the amount put out by the whole of Italy. If it were a country by itself, it would be number 6 on that list. It's a very hard to abate sector. The IMO's 4th greenhouse gas study estimates that in a business as usual scenario, the shipping industry is well on track to increase its emissions by 90 to 130%. In 2018, the industry had set an ambition to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 50% by 2050. An ambition that today we already know is just not enough. So the transition to zero carbon fuels will eventually happen. That is already happening. But the timeline for that is quite fluid. Meanwhile, what we always and mostly overlook is that decarbonization as such stands on multiple pillars, and electrification and operational efficiency improvements. These are very key factors there. And this is where ports have a massive role to play. There are 4.3 million port arrivals annually needed to facilitate the ship-shore interface and handling of goods in and out of the captive hinterland. And this can be optimized on a daily basis. Ports need to set the tone as to how operations need to be conducted in an operationally efficient manner. Every minute saved in cargo handling and port operations is a minute added to the cargo carrying capacity of the existing fleet, boosting its productivity and reducing waste in the process. Not just wasted time, it's also wasted energy, wasted effort and resources from all parties involved. So you see, decarbonization and improving operational efficiency, they go hand in hand. You cannot decouple them. They are an essential link in a circular economy where it is critical to make the most judicious use of resources at hand. Let me tell you a bit about the work we do at Portxchange and how we are contributing to the circular economy. As you can imagine, in every ship-shore interface, there are many moving blocks, many. And every player in that chain is dependent on a timely and logical flow of information from an adjacent player. Every stakeholder in a port call, whether it be a shipper, a receiver, the port authority, a terminal, they depend on information flows from someone else. And this flow of information is often very critical in operational decision making. A small disruption to any one part of that entire chain sends a shockwave across the entire network. And every user in this port community, they are usually experts when it comes to planning their resources that they can directly control. So they often plan within the microcosm of their own silo. There's a very siloed thinking there. But what happens in reality is that they need to operate in a landscape where multiple users interact with each other. And that is what we are doing at Portxchange. We can exponentially grow each user's sphere of influence by connecting them to every other user within a port community. It's like a neural network that we are creating. It's only once we are able to share relevant data safely in real time will we begin to start seeing the collective benefits of manpower, artificial intelligence, and expensive machinery that we use. And we have been doing this in different parts around the world. We've been collaborating with partners, ship owners, operators, port authorities, terminals, cargo owners to do this. And we have seen up to 12% improvement in operational efficiency across a wide range of KPIs, just by taking this bold step of streamlining data flows. But we cannot do this alone. Getting to net zero is not a choice anymore, and we are in a race against time. And that is why we need the collaboration from everybody involved. Each one of you sitting there today, hearing this, needs to get into action today. And for this, the key factor will be the human element and leadership. Much like my own mindset, captaining that ship 9 years ago, we need to change the mindset of every crew member, every individual, organization interacting in that port ecosystem, and learn new ways to put the environment in the center of our thought process. The need of the hour is one aligned vision and concerted goals for each and every person in the industry to move towards. The way we manage our ports, ships, and the people in this industry, it has far-reaching implications on economic growth and environmental protection. Now, it is very easy for me to pinpoint the faults, but I'd really appreciate if this audience can be mindful of the industry's contribution in keeping the world fed, vaccinated, and the engines of the economy running during the pandemic. And now it's time to get even better. I recently told a friend of mine that I'll be speaking about the circular economy, and I'm unsure of the chain of thought to be used. I'm a nervous speaker. So she had an interesting take to it. She asked me to use buzzwords like sustainability, net zero, etc., etc. So I think I've used all of them, so she will be happy. But the more I chew on it, I think she got it spot on. Because every single action we take here on from today has an effect on the planet's sustainability and our trajectory towards getting to net zero. It's all connected. It's circular. That is what I would want you to remember from my 10 minutes here, that shipping and ports is at the center of that circle. Grazie.
Thank you, Abhishek. So you are very impacting.
Thank you, Giovanna. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. I remember everybody, in case would like to connect you, there is the link to your professional contact on our website.
Absolutely. It is important to reach out to us and see how we can make the world a better place.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.